Gaurav, give our viewers a sense of what your sources in Eastern Army Command are saying about the current state of play in Yangtze. Has the situation been returned completely to normalcy, or is the Indian Army still on a state of high alert given what happened in that area?
So the Indian Army is on a state of alert, Rahul, and rightfully so. The Chinese were pushed back. There has been disengagement, but there are multiple friction points, and the Chinese build-up was noticed in several areas. Will the Chinese take this lying down? Perhaps not. Each time they've been pushed back, they've tried to come again. It's a major loss of face for China, given the fact that they had actually built up over time and then come thinking they will overwhelm the Indian position and occupy the strategic height that they wanted to, the strategic vantage point that they wanted to. Did they only come to touch their claim line and go back? The assessment is perhaps not. There was a unilateral effort to change status quo at the line of actual control. So this isn't something that China does routinely. This is perhaps a part of the salami slicing of Indian territory that China was attempting to do. And this India did not permit. But then this isn't the only friction point, and that is why officers I have been speaking to seem to indicate that as India's stature, and I agree with General Hasnain, as India's stature increases, as India's G20 presidency gets underway, China realizes that it has to do something to keep India down. But Rahul, if I make quickly lessons learned from Galwan 2020 and of course right from the friction that had started taking place at Doklam 2017 onwards, China started building up in a very big way on their own, but they haven't been able to breach India's red lines. Not at Doklam, not at Galwan, not at Pangong So. Even on Pangong So, as one of the officers I was speaking to earlier today told me, that while India is not going up to our claim line of finger 8, China too is not coming up to its claim line of finger 2, and that is why that buffer zone. So it's advantage both and disadvantage both. Similarly here, whatever India is doing in Arunachal Pradesh, which is extremely sensitive, India is ensuring that it is not advantage China any which way.
But it's also very cold at this time, Gaurav. I've been to Tawang in the winters. It is, from what I remember, miserably cold, especially as you go up the mountains. And if this particular post is at 17,000 feet, then give our viewers a sense of just how frigid and cold it will be at that altitude if that's a 365 24/7 kind of post.
You're absolutely right. -10 already at higher reaches in high altitude. This is high altitude. 17,000 feet is extreme high altitude, and that is where our soldiers are deployed. But this also is an indication, Rahul, that the Chinese soldiers, their deployment and their acclimatization is increasing and improving. They haven't been able to take these altitudes earlier, but now not only are they taking these altitudes, they're deployed in some of these altitudes. They're able to climb and fight, even if it's for a little time. They retreated because they could not take that altitude. They were overwhelmed. They were pushed back at this altitude. But 17,000 feet, -15 to -20, and that is there at the Yangtze place. But even Tawang or Bomdila or Sela again 13,000 feet, it's drizzling here right now. A little ahead it was snowing, and in the coming weeks it gets even colder, and this is where the winter stocking is now complete. Whether it's ammunition, whether it's arms, whether it's winter clothing, food stocks, the morale not just of the army but even the civilians we've been speaking to in Arunachal Pradesh extremely high, because they are very clear that they are a part of India, the land of the rising sun in India. There is no way they will let China succeed. They didn't let China succeed in '62. There is no way that China will succeed in 2022, Rahul.